You have to have controlled your environment enough where you've stopped all the enemies and
Yep.
stopped all the predators.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Like, in order to build those pyramids, you need a long time of safety.
Yeah.
You can't build them at the same time that you're at war.
Right.
You're being attacked. There's
Right.
famine. There's no water.
Right.
You need long,
Thousands of years.
thousands of safe,
Yeah.
and food and abundance, and then you need a thing for people to do so they don't kill each other. Keep them busy.
Yep. Keep them busy.
Build.
Keep them from fighting over power. Yeah.
What if it was that simple?
Who knows what it was with those folks? Because I think they were probably more sophisticated than we are today. It's just the only thing that makes sense to me, that they were able to get these multiple ton stones down from the mountains with no road system.
That's the tricky. What is it? The Aswan Valley that they got the stones from for the pyramids in Giza. That is a really tricky.
It's all tricky.
Thing to consider.
Some of them were from 500 miles away.
Yeah.
They were 80 tons.
Yeah.
they got them out of the mountains. They moved them down. They cut them perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, what did they do? How did they do it? What were the machines?
Yeah.
What was the technology? Was it no technology? Really? Are you sure? Is it just based on what? Our understanding currently of what happened 12,000 years ago, which is like not that good?
Yeah.
No, we have a piecemeal understanding, like a very just minute understanding of what was possible back then, based on the evidence of the result of what was possible, which is the pyramids, which is bananas.
And we're also trying to explain it with theories that we've kind of accepted to be fact that are really not that much. Like this idea that it was all done with like the chisels and stones. I don't necessarily subscribe to that.
Yeah, says who?
Yeah.
All they would have to do is find one piece of machinery that didn't exist before they could understand. And they found things before that they didn't know existed and they couldn't understand. Like, what is that mechanism? The antitheric, what is it called? There was a computer that they found, this computer in gears. It was in a Roman ship that had sank to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
Was the Antikythera mechanism.
Yeah.
So this thing, it's an ancient Greek. Go back to that, please, so I can read that. It's an ancient Greek hand-powered orrery, a model of the solar system, described as the oldest known example of an analog computer. And it's used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses decades in advance. It also could be used to track the 4-year cycle of antithetic games.
Athletic games.
Make it a little larger. Athletic games, similar to the Olympiad.
Wow.
The cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. The artifact was among the wreckage retrieved from a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island of how do you say that? Antikythera? How do you say it?
Antikythera.
Antikythera in 1901. In 1902, it was identified by archaeologists Valerio Staeus as containing a gear. The device housed in the remains of a wooden frame case of uncertain overall size, 34 centimeters by 18 centimeters by 9 centimeters, was found as one lump, later separated into 3 main fragments, which are now divided into 82 separate fragments after conservation efforts. 4 of these fragments contain gears, while inscriptions are found on many others. The largest gear is about 13 centimeters in diameter and originally had 223 teeth. All these fragments of the mechanisms were kept in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens, along with the reconstructions and replicas to demonstrate how it may have looked and worked. See if you can find what the replica of what it looked like. But so they had to sort of like figure out how the fuck did they do this? Like, how did they know this? What's involved in this? Like, was this ancient technology that existed like a long time ago that they had preserved and held on to? Like, when was the creation of that thing? So there's things that we know that we didn't think that they could do that sort of really throw a monkey wrench into our understanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just one. That's just one that they found. I mean, there could have been stuff from thousands of years before that just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
You deal with erosion, you deal with time, and especially over thousands of years, 12,000 years. Boy, you have nothing left. There's no evidence of whatever these machines were.
It would be interesting to study like what happened to technology during the medieval ages. What is it called? What is it during the Black Plague, or what was it called? Medieval ages. Was that the term?
Yeah, but during the plague.
During the plague, right? Where was there an erosion of intellectual property?
Right, because people were dying off.
Exactly. People are dying off, and do the physicists die? Like, because we always talk about this. What happened when all the physicists die? What happened when all the scientists die? So was there an erosion? Was there a step back in our ability to create things during that period? And if there was something that was even worse than that happened throughout history, i.e. like an asteroid or something hitting the Earth, well, that erosion would just be 10 times worse.
100 times worse.
But I'd like to look into that.
Yeah.
Because you still see great works of art that happened during the medieval ages?
Yeah.
You see these great cathedrals go up. So there still were, I would imagine, they were maintaining their ability to create these great structures.
Right, but there had to be a dip in productivity.
So let's see what that dip is, and then multiply it by the catastrophe.
Right. Well, I think people were just like knocked back into the Stone Age. I think that's probably what happened.
That makes sense.
That's why you see the emergence of written language and all these different things from Mesopotamia. Like that's 6,000 years later.
Yeah.
After the impacts, probably.
So it took that amount of time.
Yeah.
To recover.
Yeah.
And build back the knowledge set. And keep in mind, like the knowledge set isn't maintained with the efficiency that we have it now, right? Like you get a couple books that get destroyed, and that's a wrap. Physics gone.
That's the Library of Alexandria.
Right.
They burned the Library of Alexandria, and they're like, everybody's like, "What happened?"
Yeah,
I don't know.
The knowledge.
Take a guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd they build this shit? We've burned it. Sorry. Yeah.
It is vulnerable. We take it for granted. It is incredibly vulnerable.
Oh man, we're even more vulnerable now because everything's on hard drives. You know, so all it takes is the power going off, and we're fucked.
Yeah.
And how long would it take before the power gets back on? Boy, asteroid impacts, kills the whole grid. Everyone's knocked into the Stone Age for a couple hundred years. Yeah. Bro, you ain't getting into them hard drives.
Yeah.
You're never going to figure it out. And although the hard drives will rot, the moisture in the air, the erosion, they'll slowly evaporate. Yeah.
And if somebody handed you a hard drive 2,000 years later, you would just think it was a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
You have no clue that all
it'd
the
be a
information...
lump. How about that thing? That thing was just
so
a
we don't
lump
know what
of,
the fuck that
it was all corroded and fucked up.
They don't know what it is. It's the only one they've ever found, I think I'm reading.
Yeah. I mean, how many of them were there? It wasn't the only one.
Yeah.
They probably had a bunch of them. They probably have even better ones.
That's the question they're saying. Like, what if it was the only one?
It's a mystery.
There's no way
it's a fucking mystery, baby.
We love it.
But it's a fun time.
Oh, it's the best.
It's a fun time to be alive. As chaotic as it is, this is a really fun time to be alive.